Hello, scholars. So today we're going to review for Reader's Workshop, collecting information about the main characters. We started talking about this before we left for independent study, but as we look at chapters 4 through 6, we've really been asking questions about what can we learn about the different characters in our story. So in chapter 4, if you recall, Willy Wonka had just learned that there were spies in his factory, and some of the other chocolate makers, including Mr. Let me go back in my text so I get his name correct. Don't be afraid to go back in your text, friends. So Mr. Prodnose and Mr. Slugworth stole their recipes because their factories began to make the different candies that Wonka had made. So what can we learn about Wonka from what the text says? We know that some spies were in his factories, they stole his recipes, and then he closed his factories down, and all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, they didn't see anyone going in. They're not sure who these workers are. His factory is working again. And in the text on page 18, it says, nobody sees him anymore. He never comes out. The only things that come out of that place are chocolates and candies. They come out through a special trapdoor in the wall, all packed and addressed, and they are picked up every day by post office trucks. So when you look at that little passage from the text, scholars, what do you really think about Willy Wonka? I want you to answer out loud right now. What does this tell us or show us about Wonka? Well, it might show us a couple different things, right? It shows us that even though he had this problem of the spies stealing his recipes, he didn't let that stop him in the long run from making his chocolates. It also shows me he maybe is very protective of his chocolate secrets now because nobody sees him anymore. And it makes me also wonder, how does he get all the things for his factory? Is that question going to be answered in the text? In chapter 5, we first learn about the golden tickets and the contest that is happening. So what can we learn about Charlie and his grandparents in the following passage? This is nonsense, cried Grandpa Joe. Wouldn't it be something, Charlie, to open a bar of candy and see a golden ticket glistening inside? It certainly would, Grandpa, but there isn't a hope, said Charlie sadly, or Charlie said sadly. I only get one bar a year. And then it goes on to say, you never know, darling, said Grandma Georgina. It's your birthday next week. You have as much chance as anybody else. I'm afraid that simply isn't true, said Grandpa George. The kids who are going to find the golden tickets are the ones who can afford to buy candy bars every day. Our Charlie only gets one a year. There isn't a hope. So what do we really learn from about the grandparents and Charlie in this situation? Now, Grandpa Joe is really hopeful, right? He's saying, oh, wouldn't it be great? You might see a golden ticket inside. But Charlie, is he hopeful about it? How do you know if he is or isn't? Right? It says right there, according to the text. Charlie said, but there isn't a hope, Grandpa, Charlie said sadly. We also know from the text that Grandma Georgina is a little bit more hopeful because she's saying, you know what? You don't know, Charlie. You might be able to get one. You have just as good of a chance. Oh, but Grandpa George, according to the text, it says the kids who are going to find the golden tickets are the ones who can afford to buy candy bars every day. So we know Grandpa George doesn't think Charlie's going to win. In chapter 6, we're looking at the first two winners, and they have Veruca Salt as one of them. So what do we really learn about Veruca from this passage? Oh, it was terrible. My little Veruca got more and more upset each day, and every time I went home, she would scream at me, where's my golden ticket? I want my golden ticket! And she would lie for hours on the floor, kicking and yelling in the most disturbing way. So that's what her own father is saying about her. What do we really learn about Veruca here? So scholars, even if you've already read chapters 4 through 6, you can always read them again, really concentrating on and thinking, what can I learn about the characters from here? So you can either read the chapters and talk about it with your parents or somebody else at home, or don't forget to go on our Padlet. Each class has a Padlet page with some questions posted at the end of each chapter that you can answer. We also have videos of us reading the chapter, so if you'd like to read along with us, you can do that by watching the video. But I really look forward to hearing your responses about what can we learn about these characters. Thank you for joining me today.